right, 8 strikeouts, no walks, 6 hits, 8 innings. He's 8-1. June Lee, around the horn to you. This is not a new discussion. This has been happening once every 5 games as a pitcher and every night as a batter. But 40 home runs, 8 wins. Has Ohtani already locked up MVP of the American League?
He's as close as you could be to locking up the MVP on August 19th. You know, it's one of those situations where Ohtani, there was talk around Ohtani and whether or not he should give up pitching at some point down the road because he's such a prolific hitter. He had a 3.6 ERA at the end of June. And in that time, he's since lowered his ERA down to 2.79. He's gone back up to that elite stat since in the month of August. He is 8th and 5th in baseball. This is a situation where I think we're seeing a consistency on both sides of the baseball game with Ohtani that is starting to put him in the conversation of one of the greatest athletic seasons of all time across sports. Like, Babe Ruth is no longer a fair comparison for Shohei Ohtani. It is one of those situations where we're seeing something that is completely unprecedented in sports.
Say that again. Babe Ruth is not a fair comparison because Ohtani is doing things Babe Ruth didn't do. Say it again.
Which is such an absurd sentiment.
Yeah. Ruth never hit 40 home runs in a year he had 15 starts. And, you know, there was one thing, June. I know it's your 12th career show. There was a bad word in there. Can't tell you what it is because I'm loath to say it. Bob Ryan, is Ohtani already MVP of the American League?
First of all, be careful with the Babe Ruth thing. I don't want to get involved in this right now because you're a little bit off.
No, we're here. We're here, Bob. Let's get involved with this. Is it not true that Babe Ruth never hit 40 home runs?
Don't downgrade what he did. In 1919, he hit 29 homers. It broke the record, and he was still pitching.
It broke the record.
And that forced the issue about him becoming a full-time outfielder the next year when he hit 54. Now, the answer is I am unalterably opposed to the idea of MVP. It should be Player of the Year. That's a whole. And in that case, of course, he's the Player of the Year. Now, whether he's the MVP or not, but the way people have to parse that, I don't want to get involved in that. He's the Player of the Year. If you had told me 5 or 10 years ago that we would see a guy who would be an above-average pitcher, way above-average pitcher, who would be hitting 40 home runs by August 16 or 19, I never would have believed you. I would have said, fantasy. We've all been through this where we're at. In the Little League, where the best athlete in the team very often is a pitcher who bats cleanup. That's what we're living through. We're living through Williamsport, for God's sake, in the big leagues. It's incredible.
Ramona Shelburne, can you please join us?
Yeah, I can't believe he hasn't slowed down. I keep waiting for him to fall off.
Bob or Ohtani?
As a hitter or a pitcher. Well, both. But I can't believe that Ohtani has kept this up. He's actually getting stronger as a pitcher. He went 8 innings. It's his longest outing of the year. He's gone more than 6 innings and 6 straight starts. Like, he's not getting tired. He's getting stronger. And that's what's amazing about this entire season.
Is he your MVP in the American League? Are you willing to call an Angel the MVP in the season?
Hands down. Well, we've done it with Mike Trout before when they didn't make the playoffs. So I think Ohtani on both sides of the ball, it's amazing.
And Tinsley.
Yeah, it's fitting I go last in this because I'm really running out of ways to describe this guy. So, yes, he is the MVP. He's the first of Ohtani. Look, not only does this guy lead the league in majors, he leads the league in major league home runs that went at least 430 feet. Excuse me, couldn't get that out. But he's also second in ERA since the start of July. Like, this guy, I can't describe him. Now, here's the thing that scares me about this, and it's not even his fault. The Angels have only been to the playoffs once during the Mike Trout era. So what does this mean for him? You can't leave generational talent in the regular season. Now, I say that. Next weekend, we got Ohtani versus Tatis Jr., and I'm all the way locked in. So that's what I'm really excited for. So, yes, he is the MVP.
Justin, you got enough to say there. I appreciate you exploring the full breadth of the schedule to get to the end of your answer. Wow, June and Bob on fire to start today's show. We're going to move on. Patriots Eagles tonight, football-ish activities. Cam Newton and Mac Jones on one side, and what to glean there, and whether Belichick raises an eyebrow when one throws a pass or not during the game. And then on the other side, Jalen Hurts and the Novocaine offense of these Eagles, and whether Hurts will emerge as QB1 for Philadelphia. Bob, what can you learn tonight, exhibition game 2?
Well, we know where the public stands. You know, the ovation that Jones got when he entered the first exhibition game was extraordinary. He hadn't done anything yet. We know where the public stands. What we also know is where Bill Belichick has stood publicly, which is in total support of Cam Newton, to the point where you wonder when he was going to file the adoption papers. He has not come off that stance yet. And so tonight, I don't know how bad Newton will have to be, or how great Jones will have to be for this to alter. Right now, it is no question, there's no contest. Bill Belichick is publicly endorsing Newton. And so get that in your head. I don't know what is going to alter that, how much it's going to take for that to change.
June?
Yeah, Bill Belichick is definitely putting up that public face, but all of the word off the ground in New England right now is that Mac Jones is the guy. That people in that Patriots locker room are taken aback by how much of an aura that he has, the fact that he carries himself like the number one quarterback on that roster. I think it's really interesting to point out, too, that when Mac Jones was at Alabama, he was competing for that starting job. Cam Newton hasn't competed for a starting quarterback job since he was at Florida. Mac Jones, I think, is going to be the starting quarterback of the New England Patriots sooner rather than later, and that's been the buzz because he has been impressing at camp week after week, and every single game every single opportunity that he's had to show what he has on the field, he's been able to chip away slowly at kind of Cam Newton's starting position.
Justin?
Now, to be fair, Belichick has never said Cam is going to be the starter. There's still that mystery. Still that mystery surrounding that. But I'm sticking to my guns. I still think Cam starts week 1, but there's no denying that this game is important. Cam looked really good at the second day of a joint practice with the Eagles. But I do hope he gets more than 2 series this game. So we may have more to go off of on this game. Now, I do have a theory. You want to be the starter week 1, and you want to be the starter all season. But with the Patriots, you know you're looking forward to week 4 when Tom Brady comes back to town. You don't want to be that quarterback on the sideline. So I think these guys have that week in mind, too. So you want to be the hot hand.
That's an interesting riddle you posed there. Like, would Belichick want Mac Jones starting in that game with such a spotlight on that game as, because that's just basically handing him the torch? Or would he want Cam Newton starting that game? Shelburne, you can weigh in here on that, or just tonight in general and what you can learn from exhibition game 2.
I'm just trying to picture what Belichick's full-throated support sounds like. Because I remember when he said, we were talking about rain the other day, and he was like, if it rains, it rains. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Right? I mean, they asked Cam Newton, has Belichick told you you're the starter? And he goes, I think you know the answer to that. Like, he hasn't told him that. And Cam's off posting Instagram messages and saying, I need your loyalty and respect. I mean, Cam doesn't feel like the starter. And so if you're in that situation as Cam Newton, yet you're taking all the reps with the first team, and he's positioned that way. Bob's right. He's been positioned that way. But go out and earn it. Go out and leave no doubt. Go out and have a performance where we're not questioning this anymore.
And same must be true for Jalen Hurts then in Philadelphia. Nick Sirianni, new head coach, has gone as far as he can go saying it's nobody who's QB1 right now. But Jalen Hurts has to prove it tonight in exhibition game 2, Ramona?
You don't have to prove it tonight. I think he's positioned in that way. But if he cares about the chatter, he doesn't seem to care about the chatter as much as Cam does. I don't see him posting cryptic Instagram tweets.
Yeah, I think Jalen Hurts is the quarterback number 1, but you want to give that fan base some confidence heading into the start of the regular season and not saying the offense is like Novocaine again.
You bring that up, Justin, and this eluded me last time. That's a line from Remember the Titans. So now I view it completely in a different way. I still don't think it works. Novocaine numbs your mouth, and then it goes away. And who wants to be compared to Novocaine anyway? But it's Remember the Titans. All right, taking a break right here. Buy or sell on the other side. Bob Ryan, red hot fire.
Out of the gate.
Out of the gate. We've seen all sorts of reaction from pitchers when they're getting the foreign substance check from umpires. Lance Lynn last night involved him not slowing down, trying to quick walk off the mound. Said the umps were too slow to get to him, but then he left his equipment out to be checked, but not himself, and then he tossed his belt and he was ejected. So there's that, but these foreign substance checks and findings are pulling up things, or at least suspecting things. Last night, Caleb Smith was tossed after they looked at his glove for a bit. Smith said it was just dirt, and now he has to work in another glove because it was his only glove. June, buy or sell the reaction you're getting from pitchers here like Lance Lynn or Smith and the inconvenience of this all?
I sell this because this is a problem that was created by the pitchers and the league. The league failed to enforce the sticky substance stuff in the beginning when they proactively could have prevented this problem from happening. And the pitchers didn't have to push this far in the first place. So, we've gotten to a point where this has become a regular part of the baseball season. And Lance Lynn needs to understand that this is something that is going to happen for the rest of the season. The umpire was like 4 steps away and he was complaining about how he wasn't there on time. Like, it's kind of ridiculous.
Justin?
Yeah, it's a partial buy for me. I understand Lance is a front runner for Cy Young, and the worst thing you can do to an innocent person is accuse him. But as June just said, the pitchers brought this on themselves, and no one wants to join Hector Santiago as the only other pitcher who's been suspended for this stuff. And I think every pitcher sees that whenever an umpire
So that was a
walks up to
partial
him.
buy? I want to make sure I get the wording right here. That was a partial buy?
It was a partial
That is a
buy.
total
Nobody
and mute there for Mr. Tinsley. Shelburne.
Look, this reminded me of like when you see a cop and you know you're speeding, and then if you hit the brakes and they see your brake lights, like they know you slowed down. I mean, he literally sped up to run in the dugout. I mean, it was kind of obvious. This is exactly how people behave after a little while of them enforcing the rule. There's going to be some people who test the boundaries and see if they're still going to enforce it as strictly. I'm not surprised at all that this would
And
come
Bob
up.
Ryan.
I'm selling everything. I'm selling it from the pitcher's viewpoint that they have to know it's coming. So yeah, it's just the world they've been living in. They have to be ready for it. I'm selling it from the umpire's viewpoint. There's a difference between having a belt thrown at you and a belt tossed to you. And how do we know which one that was?
Buy or sell too.
It wasn't an argument. It was the way that everybody, Steve Kerr, act like it didn't happen. Bob Myers and tried to just discipline you and think that would put the mask over everything. And I told them right then and there, I said, the only person that can make this right is me and Kay. And there's nothing that y'all can do, and y'all are going to this up. And in my opinion, they it up. I think so too.
That's the Bleacher Report's new series, episode 1, Chips. For Draymond Green and Kevin Durant to think their inability to get along while teammates and the reason the Warriors broke up, that the blame lies with Kerr and Myers. Do you believe there's truth in that, Ramona?
No, Kevin Durant was leaving. I mean, the whole argument started because people on the Warriors kind of have sense that he was leaving the whole time. I mean, Draymond even says to him earlier in that podcast, Kevin, my feeling was you were done after the first 2 championships and you only came back because we had a chance to repeat. And Kevin goes, yeah, you're right. I mean, like that was the whole context of the argument. So to put this on Kerr and Myers 3 years later, it feels like revisionist history. I don't know why they're doing it. And I don't know why they took the gratuitous shot at them, because Steve Kerr's still his coach. Bob Myers is still the GM. Like, they understand he's a media entity, but he was already going to be a great media entity. You don't need to sell anything here.
Yeah, 2 things. Draymond's going to have a long career in media after his career in basketball is over. And 2, I'm fascinated by anything KD Warriors era. Even when I'm confused about what the hell just happened, like with this interview, I don't even know who to blame at this point. But there's something funny about all this. You notice how Steph and Klay never talk about this situation? It's always Draymond and KD talking about it.
June?
I'm just confused as to what actually happened, because I mean, like, the revisionist history aspect of this is just not what happened. They're trying to rewrite what happened. And I think an interesting part about all of this is that it's KD and Draymond talking to the public directly, not through some sort of third-party media entity. And I think this is going to be part of the future where we have athletes talking directly to fans through their own media companies. And, it's going to be on us as ESPN and other media outlets to call this stuff out when there is revisionist history going on.
Well, this is a series
trying to change the
for
narrative.
Bleacher Report. But my question is, no one sees that Kerr and Myers could have done more to try to keep them together? Is that not part of this conversation, Bob Ryan?
Well, not from what we gather now. No, there never was a point they had a chance to do that if Durant was going to leave. This is more drama from Draymond. He's always going to be in the news. And Justin's right. He's the next Charles Barkley in the waiting to be a commentator. And as far as the other guy's concerned, he's never happy. Get over it. Just try and smile once in a while.
They
Be
were
happy.
smiling during this, and they laughed. And
No, Kevin Durant, I am so tired of his being
that was
tired.
a dynasty.
You know what I mean?
And isn't it not the GM's job, Ramona Shelburne, to keep the team together for no matter what?
Yeah, but they did. A week after that incident, Bob Myers got on a plane, flew out and met the team on the road, and they had a big dinner with all the main guys, and they talked it out. So I don't know what else they were supposed to do.
We'll move on. Buy or sell 3, Aaron Rodgers. Speaking of...
farewell tour. I don't know what's going to happen after the season, but I'm going to enjoy it with the right perspective for sure. And look at it as I'm getting through this. I'm just going to enjoy the hell out of all of it.
Here's Durant and Draymond talk about their experience, and now Aaron Rodgers. Buy or sell, Justin?
I sell it. I just hope Aaron is ready to talk about this beautiful mystery all season. But I'll say this. Aaron Rodgers is one of 8 MVPs to win multiple MVPs. The other 7, they won it for multiple teams. I'm just saying.
Ramona?
Like, I'm glad he said it. I'm tired of talking about it already. There's no mystery what's going to happen at the end of this, and there's nothing beautiful about it. He's going to be gone for the team at the end of the year. We know what it is. I don't need to see any more Last Dance memes.
Bob, is everything you just said about Durant also true for Aaron Rodgers? Like, you know.
Remember the movie Bowfinger when Steve Martin was making a movie around Eddie Murphy and Eddie Murphy didn't know it?
Wow.
Well, I think that's what's going on here is that Aaron Rodgers, who's becoming more and more of a diva, is making a documentary and we're the audience and we don't know it. It's coming out. That's what's happening here.
I did not have a Bowfinger reference on the cards today. June Lee,
Bob
please.
Ryan on fire today.
That's a good one. I
Ohtani
can't
over
even
there.
front.
Go, June.
That's a good one.
I sell this because Aaron Rodgers posted the Last Dance photo on his Instagram account with Devontae Adams. Like, that by itself sets the narrative. It really feels like the type of person who's like, don't throw me a surprise birthday party, wink.
One more story. Buy or sell 4. Liberty storm last night. Huge win for the Liberty. Playoff push. They were down early. They stormed back. Laney's shot was enormous. For Seattle, Sue Bird rested again. Breanna Stewart didn't play again either. Here's the tweet WNBA posted hours before, pumping the national TV game with Stewart. But she didn't play. She and her wife, Margaret, just welcomed a baby to the world. Maternity leave is a possibility, but it was reported as rest. Another L for Seattle. Ramona, wise load management strategy from Seattle, even on a national TV game?
Yeah, you can't worry about the national TV game. The Storm's trying to repeat as WNBA champions, and these two guys just got back from the Olympics. Like, they're entitled to a little rest.
Justin Tinsley?
I absolutely agree. I'd rather see them two in a big-time playoff game than a big-time regular season game. They deserve the rest.
Seattle falls to third now. Maybe not the bye in those first 2 seeds, June. Is there anything here? National TV game? We've talked about it with the Spurs before, of course, and Popovich.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Ramona and Justin here. I think long-term for the WNBA, the best thing that they could have is the Seattle Storm repeating and having Breanna Stewart and Sue Bird guaranteed in that stage in the WNBA Finals.
Bob, there were games where Candace Parker didn't play for Chicago, and they were national TV games earlier this year, and now this is the second national TV game this week. Seattle's rested players. Do you see anything here?
I got 2 numbers for you. 40, that's how old Sue Bird is, and 26, that's how old Breanna Stewart is. I'm not buying it in her case. It wasn't like the Olympics ended yesterday. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it.
All right, that's the last word here. Ramona, you want one last word? Go ahead, please.
Well, she's 26, but she also has probably slept 26 hours in the last couple of days because she, has a new baby here, waking her up all the time.
Celebrating. Tinsley done. Lee, Ryan, showdown. 2 minutes.